Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap. It is Monday. Came in today. Futures were down a bit. Made a little sense, right? Huge move last week from Wednesday's low to Friday's close. So the question was, what type of retracement would we have? What would oil do? Would we hold Friday's gap in the S&P? How would the bios and the Russell and the banks fare today, considering that they've been a little wishy-washy? And can tech hold up? So after pretty much a quiet inside day for most of the session for the spiders, finally in the last hour and a half, the spiders broke into the gap from Friday, and all the sectors that were kind of weak all day long, like the XLE, oil, the Russell, and then even the bios that got rejected at resistance, just kind of cascaded lower. So let's just get right to the charts. If you look here at the SPX, I don't think most bulls wanted to see an engulfing day like this. It basically engulfed all of all of Friday, which isn't good. You would want to see a portion of that hold, but I guess it's still north of this support, which will be we'll see how we open up tomorrow, 1848, and then you do have the pivot low here. So the question is, how'd you handle it? Spiders, if you look at my chart on Twitter, I talked about this, right? Would this gap hold? Can we have commitment, pent-up momentum? And then no. So at this point, I wouldn't say it's game over for the bulls, but you know what? They're gonna have to come somewhere tomorrow and maybe give us a red dog reversal around. Let me move this up. Around this pivot, or we shall see. If we start getting much below this, which is like that low area, you're going to be seeing people talking about the lows, coming much quicker. I think the question was when everyone had this in their sights, okay, which was this 3-day move, okay. If you come back to me, in my head I was like, okay, was 1810 the lows of the year? Probably not. But would it nice to see a move maybe towards 193 in the spiders, 195, somewhere around there. So the other conventional wisdom was, okay, if everyone's saying we're going to see 1950 off of this bounce, either we're not going to get there, or we're going to get there, everyone's going to get short up to it, and it's going to push through to 1970, 1990. So at this point, it's still too early to tell, except for oil that bounced really hard, already gave back half of that bounce game, which shows that how weak it really is. And if you look here at the USO, you'll see, not back at the lows of of last week, but it already filled the gap, showing no power. They were able to press it right in, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see if you get some kind of red dog reversal around this 856 to hold a little bit, or not. If it doesn't, we're going to be seeing the lows quicker than we thought. XLE, it was weak all day. It gave you one push, and then again, if it was going to be really strong, it would have held Friday's gap. So if you were in it long from 1, 2, 3, that was your out. If you're looking to get short into the gap, that was your spot, 54.45, and then it closed on lows. So this was the weakest all day, so not something to take home long. I guess tomorrow you'll see, does it come into this spot and hold, or do you get some kind of red dog reversal around this pivot tomorrow to go like that? We'll see what happens. The Fed has their 2-day meeting, starts Tuesday, stuff doesn't come out till Wednesday, so they can do whatever they want. The real standout this morning was the banks. Bank of America at 2015 lows. It's been broken, it's below every moving average, but you would have thought it could have held a little while and tried to muster a bounce, and none to say the least. Like this already broke below this lower pivot. To show you relative weakness, this wasn't even able to touch the 8-day moving average. I know we made a lot of money in the past with this stock, but look what happened here when it broke the 200-day to start the year. What's the 200-day rule? Below the 200-day for multiple sessions, it's just not an investment. It was not something you hold. And this was your inside pivot to go to the downside. So at this point, I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go, except for it's in a crazy downtrend. The banks have been very weak, and I guess we'll maybe see on the weekly chart what could be next year. On the weekly chart, you just had a big rollover below the 200-day. That is not healthy. Goldman Sachs doesn't look too far behind. Goldman Sachs, what did it do? This is the weekly chart also. This trend broke, and we talked about this head and shoulders top pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline right here, and then well below the 200-day on the weekly. That's pretty damn negative. You go to the daily, and this too, looks very close to new move lows. Look at that right here. It came out with earnings, didn't perform well, and now the spiders aren't even near the lows, and Goldman Sachs, pretty much closed on the lows. So, and I think it got upgraded today. So, and it got failed at the 8-day. Well, a lot of the things went to the 21-day. So that's weak. The high beta names tried to be a little strong, but that's why in my note I said on day 4 of an up move, even though Google was the strongest, not compelling to buy. After 4 days, Amazon, any of them. So if you go back to the morning note or the morning call and you see, Google wound up reversing, okay, gave you actually a little bit of a red dog reversal to the downside. You can play this thing both ways. Here's your red dog reversal to the upside. Hit a low, came back above it, you buy it, 1, 2, 3 on the 4th day. Red dog reversal to the downside, where it traded above the prior high of 748, squeezed people at 752. Once it took back that pivot, you could have got short for a nice gap fill here, and then who knows, maybe you get some downside tomorrow. So you could play this tactic long and short. Long from here, and then if you sold it on the day 3 rule, and then maybe you were looking for this and you got it. Amazon also. Didn't sell off as hard, but 1, 2, 3, 4, not that compelling. Facebook was strong all day, and then it, turned tail right into the spot that we talked about in the morning call. We said it could probably get into this resistance, into the moving averages, 99.5, and where did it go today? 99.48, off by 2 cents. But this was your calculated buy, and this was your day 4, and a little red dog reversal, and this too probably gets some follow through to the downside, as these charts, still need so much time. Apple earnings are tomorrow. I would have thought it could have held up a little bit better. It didn't. See, I guess what happens in here tomorrow. I don't like to trade stocks the day of earnings because everyone's squaring off positions and whatnot. It could change so easily. But today didn't show much strength. Got hit early. This resistance is still right there, and this is when the trend broke. Boom, boom, boom. So at this point, still. You look at the big bounce it had. What was really the big bounce? Not a heck of a lot for now. And you still got this blaring head and shoulders top. So we'll see what happens, tomorrow. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. That was the trend that broke, and it's still below all the 200-day and rallies. Rallies to be measured, right? That's what the story is. And I guess we'll see what tomorrow brings. And that's really it. Oil, I thought, if oil could stay above 30 for a few sessions, maybe, we hold higher. Maybe there's a better retracement versus engulfing oil of Friday. Still, Fibonacci-wise, I'll post BP's chart later. From the 812 low to the 1906 high, we're still in the top third. The way they push this market around, they get it to the 50% retracement, sometimes to 0.61, just to shake everything up. But we'll see. And I think most people came today wrist down. I know I did. And then, I guess everyone got a little chopped up out of the way. I know I was trying to be short. I went into a webinar and all of a sudden got stopped out when the spiders went to the highs of the day, and I come back and all of a sudden it's back on the lows, and then it breaks the lows, and that's how good these computers are. So they're knowing who to push around, who's uncommitted, et cetera, et cetera. That same way, if you bought late on Friday and you missed Wednesday, Thursday, you might have sold today and you might be selling tomorrow, and then that might be another higher low, but we shall see. Tune in tomorrow. There's a long week in front of us. Hopefully you had a decent day. Have a good night.